Okay, so this is the second effort at the Ball Sounds podcast. I've nearly flung the iPad through the wall window or any kind of solid surface I could find because we were nearly half an hour into a fantastic interview with Ashby prop Daniel Grimsley and decided to break. So I'm sorry about that, Dan. We were just reminiscing about old times, about old friends and the team we played in. I mean, would you like to say hello to the people who are listening live out there in internet land?
Hello, internet land.
Internet land, full of real people who aren't made up of pixels. They're actually made up of flesh and blood and sinews, apparently.
All right.
Whatever that means, yeah, all right. So, yeah, I was going to play a little bit of music, but I'm not going to bother with music now because I'm generally annoyed. So we were just talking about the team that we played, and I won't go back through the team. We were talking about Brett. We were talking about Brett Finley, who unfortunately passed away in 2011. Can you tell me a few memories about Brett and what he meant to you? Because I know you two had a particularly close relationship, and it was you who phoned me in December of 2011 to inform me that unfortunately Brett had passed away. So I mean, I'm kind of starting the this week's podcast on probably a little bit of a downer, but I'm sure Daniel's going to regale us with a few tales now about how much joy it was to be associated with young Brett.
Yeah, certainly. As you said, Brett was a very close friend of mine. He was, always in the pub. Obviously, when I was, anytime I was finishing work or something like that, and if Brett was on a day off, he'd always be at the end of the bar. I'd always share a beer with him.
Yeah.
And we would normally just talk about how we played when we were kids and like how much we enjoyed it and everything like that. But Brett was one of the most kind guys. He always had time for you, no matter what. He'd always try and help you out as much as he could. Bless him.
Yeah.
And like you say, it was an absolute pleasure to have known the guy. To be honest.
Yeah.
Story wise, there's always the one that everyone says with Brett. Brett was he got unfortunately banned for a bit of foul play in a school game. I was due for a county trial, so I was on the sideline. I was the school captain at the time, and we got Brett into play in my place, and he took a dislike to a flanker hanging on to him.
Yeah.
So he decided to give him a punch and then tread on him.
Yeah.
Resulting in a 6-month ban by the club, but after that it really did kind of chill him out. He realised that rugby was for pleasure instead of just going out and hitting people.
Yeah.
And he really began to enjoy and understand the game a lot more after that. I think it was a bit of a shock to the system for him, but that's always the one that quite a lot of people will always tell about Brett, rugby related, to be honest. Yeah,
I mean, it's something unfortunate to happen, but look back, I mean, how old were we? 15, 16 years old?
Yeah,
we're still learning.
15, yeah.
We were still learning about what rugby's all about, and you would never see anything like that going on at senior level and very rarely in junior level. And Brett could be a bit hot-headed, as can we all when we're children. And he was very, I believe, he was very apologetic to their flanker in that unfortunate situation. And when we look back now and we look at people at school who were probably not so agreeable at school, but you see them now and they're totally different people. And Brett was a totally different person. Pretty much from that moment on, he realised that you just can't go around doing that. Such things aren't acceptable in the sport that is rugby union. So, but yeah, I mean, there's a few tales about him. My last memory of Brett would be your birthday night out in 2011. Well, I was still living up north, and you'd invited us down to go to Nottingham as we do. On every year, it's an annual event. Of course, everyone has a birthday once a year, so you go to Nottingham once a year. And Brett came along, and what's the first pub that we go drinking in, mate? It's the Waterside.
It's the Company Inn, right at the bottom there, where Jongleurs was. I think it's like what's known as the waterfront down there.
And there's no water though, is there?
There is. It's just behind the pub.
Where's the water? It's behind the pub. So I was looking in the wrong direction then. Like,
it's always a bit dark by then, isn't it?
Yeah, it is in my world, mate. When we hit Nottingham, yeah. But I remember going to that pub And we were drinking together all night, but we didn't really talk. And we went upstairs, and I'd just gone to the loo, and Brett came in, and it was all surreal talking to him, because as soon as when he told me that he died, I think back to that. I think back to that conversation. And it was clear as day what he said, and he just was basically saying how much he enjoyed playing with me and you and Killip and everyone. The people who were on that night out were all people who played rugby together. And it just shows you how long rugby friendships can last, and to be talking about Brett in words as we're talking about him tonight in a positive manner, even though he had done wrong in the past, he learned from that, and for him to have a cup named after himself as well, which Colville won last weekend or 2 weekends ago now. They were absolutely made up, and we should be playing for that cup on the 31st of January at Colville's grounds, because they're more than for it, and they thought it was a great idea, and as did the Ashby committee, as we decided through committee, and we decided to keep the cup going, and it was a good idea, in memoriam to someone who was such a great servant to the club. I mean, what do you think about the idea of the cup? Do you think it was a good idea?
Yeah. Myself, as soon as I saw the idea, I hadn't spoke to yourself about it before it all came round. So as soon as I saw it, I was absolutely made up. Brett was Brett was very young when he passed away.
Yeah.
And to have something like that as a memorial, to keep his name going through the club and even through Colville's club as well.
Yeah.
Because Brett did represent the Colts team over at Colville when I was over there for a season. He represented the Colts. I think it was 2 or 3 times over there.
Yeah.
It was absolutely great idea, and I was absolutely over the moon that that the idea was passed through, and that both teams wanted to play for it as well.
Yeah. Definitely. And there's some really good photos of. I've been sent. I mean, I'll take an extract from Colville's programme from Bakewell at the week. Did they beat Bakewell on Saturday? I take it they did.
Yeah, they stuffed them.
Yeah. They've stuffed every team this season apart from us, and they will not stuff us at their place as well, because we had we played very well against them, and I think we gave a great account of ourselves. So it was in the magazine this week. It's the President's Welcome. I believe Moira Short, who's the wife of Fixture's secretary, Ray Short, put this programme together, and she asked me for a little bit more about Brett, and I'll say what was said. This was also the inaugural game for the Brett Finley Memorial Cup. Brett was a stalwart and loyal Ashby player who, despite suffering from epilepsy, was committed to playing through junior to senior levels and later coaching the junior teams. He will be found at the club every weekend, offering his support. Sadly, Brett succumbed to the effects of his illness in 2011 at the age of just... I think she's got his age wrong, but there we go, that doesn't matter. And the Brett Finley Cup will now be contested for whenever Ashby meet Colville at first team level in the future. This fitting memorial was commissioned by his club from their trophy suppliers, Timberland Trophies. And until then, in Colville, we'll keep that until we play them at their place. And it will certainly be making a big thing of it, and there will be a big presentation after the game. So, what would it mean to you to be able to win that cup back from Colville?
Oh, it would mean the world to me to be in the side to play against Colville in January. Is my big aim at the moment.
Yeah.
Recently losing my place in the first team to a couple of younger, fitter lads. It's made me kind of really want to get my fitness back and get back into the side to get that cup. Yeah. Obviously, every game matters for the first team, but playing against Colville would have been an absolute pleasure to have done it. I've got a few mates who play for Colville as well, and it would have been great to play against them. But onwards and upwards. I want to be back in that side for the end of the end of January to hopefully win that cup back from them. Yeah.
No, definitely. Let's hope it's going to be the Ashby boys drinking vodka Red Bull out of the cup come the 31st of January. I'll be ever so proud of the club when if we do manage to get that trophy back from Colville. But well done to them, and it was a game played in a great spirit in front of over 300 people, and it was the best day that the bar had at Ashby as well. So we'll move on to the next point, which basically is the fact that we used to play at Ashby Road, which wasn't a great football ground, and it's all right, my missus is tiptoeing around me, pretending to be quiet. All right, Jenny. Bye, Jenny. She's going upstairs now. She's all embarrassed. The ground where we play now, we've got 3 pitches. We've got 3 pitches and room for a pony. We've got a big car park, and we've got that fantastic clubhouse. What are your thoughts on how the club's come on over the last few years, mate?
It's amazing to see it. I remember carrying the posts up from the old ground up to the new ground. It was something that we got sponsored to do.
Yes.
It was when the club was. I think it was struggling for a bit of money then as well, because obviously we'd bought the new ground as well.
Yeah.
No, it's obviously seeing it going from the old mobiles to the new clubhouse. Obviously the purchase of the new pitch, and and how good that new pitch and training area is.
Oh yeah.
It's just testament to what the committee and and everyone behind the scenes that the club kind of puts in. It's amazing to have seen it. Seeing all the junior section as well. Yeah. They're on a Sunday. It's amazing to see.
It is, and that's the thought that's echoed throughout senior level. And myself, I'm there on a Sunday doing the kitchen with my other half, and meeting all the young girls and boys who have come to learn about what it is to be part of a rugby club. And they're not just learning the hand-eye coordination and how to pass the ball around. They're learning what it's like to have friends for life through a sport as gentlemanly as rugby. The clubhouse itself, I mean, you can obviously remember the old mobile that we used to have. Can you describe that to the listeners? Because there are people that listen to this podcast now. The podcast is now, it's gone national. I say it's gone national, it's gone international as regards to people who can view it. And we've had well over 100 listens just over a couple of days to the podcast with Andrew Large, which was recorded in the Plough on Friday. And tell everyone out there a little bit more about what the clubhouse used to look like, because I don't have amazingly fond memories of it, because it wasn't great, was it?
No, the clubhouse was like two old classrooms stuck together, really, with like a bar put up at one end of one of the mobiles. There was by the time we were done with them, there was all holes in the wall. It was either really cold or really hot. No one could get the temperature right in there.
No.
There wasn't room for that many people. Once you had a couple of teams in there, it was absolutely packed full. So there was no room for anyone. I remember there being all the old chairs up the top end as well, where you kind of sit to kind of get away from, because obviously there was all the smoke fumes and everything in there as well. You could smoke inside back when the mobile was there as well. Yeah. So but going from there, you then get you had the little corridor that went through to the two. There was only 2 changing rooms with the old, with the old school coat hangers and everything like that on the side. If there was 2 teams at home, so obviously 4 teams getting changed in these 2 changing rooms. The teams had to share the changing rooms, and it certainly got very cramped in there. The showers were, you could probably wee quicker than the showers.
You've obviously heard the interview with Tim Westwood. He that's exactly what he said. He said you could probably urinate with more effort and power than those showers worked. I just waited till I got home to have a bath, because it wasn't worth waiting around for them things, but. Yeah, I mean the changing rooms. Tonight's podcast, we're basically going to be reminiscing. You're talking to one, my best friend. So I've known since the age of 9. I was his best man at his wedding. It's Daniel Grimsley, who's the prop for the first team, and he's played for Ashby since he was 9. And we're just basically reminiscing. And the changing rooms were opposite each other, weren't they? Were they opposite each other? There was one door, they were, weren't they? And so when you were warming up for your game, and we'd get inside, and Rob Davis and your dad would warm us up, and we'd be stomping up and down, and the whole clubhouse would be rocking, wouldn't it? with
oh yeah,
with you're talking 40 pairs of studded boots